Alright everyone, welcome back. Bulldog Hero plays Stanley Parable 2. The reason I'm kind of starting this almost, I don't want to say immediately because you guys don't know, but I was going to test out some stuff, and as soon as I start, this happened. Notice there's no bucket. We're walking through here, and...
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things.
See?
It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
The game duped me. I really thought it was going to give me a really sad ending for the figurines, but here we are. We're getting something more. So let's enjoy it. When Stanley found the collectibles. Yes. Beautiful. We remember this, right? Zone, sweet zoned. Oh, wait. Do we go down or do we go up? We're going down.
Here's where it all began.
That's right.
The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
I just collected 7. That's right, the next one was in the restroom.
And here was a second Stanley. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
The next one I found was...
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
I do. It was the boss's office. But should I lie to him? No, I'm an honest man.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but
yes.
I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
So number 3. Remember how important that is.
Let's see, what came next?
Oh.
Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
No, we
Oh,
didn't.
well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
That's not true. That's not possible! Why is it whispering? It's kind of weird. What happened to those storage rooms? Was I supposed to go back? Oh, stairs.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was under the stairs. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Are we watching a video? Yes, we are. And this reminds me of my football videos I used to make.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
It
I
did.
spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
That was funny. Alright, we need to find the storage one now. I forgot the storage one.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other.
There's one more.
Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh, you know I'm going blue. It didn't matter. Ooh. Base.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Okay. Was that it? Was that the... Okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines?
Yeah,
let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
So how many figurines am I
yes,
gonna get?
the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Oh, he wants that satisfaction. He's getting the Whitley itch. The portal itch.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Are we gonna watch it again?
Yes, I love that video.
Oh, that's too good. The freaky pink room.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Boss's office.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
We forgot this one. There's nothing here. It's like we forgot all about the warehouse. Interesting.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Oh, frozen. There we go. Game loaded.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Collect them all. What came before this? The jump circle. Still at 0.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Do we just keep going back? Are we going to remember the skip button? Is this the epilogue?
Oh, yes! The 2 doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Invisible choice.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
The main menu?
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then, somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
One more run. What ending should I do? The first ending I did, which was a bang him. I think I'll do that run. The whole boss room again. That was actually one of my favorite endings, that figurine one.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Was he?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
No bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're gonna obey him.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We do everything the way we did it the first time. For the last time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
We know, we know.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
There we go. Going down. I wonder what the epilogue is like. If we even get it.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I just realized the quickest ending would have been jumping.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Nothing. Nothing, fa la la.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
You know, I'm glad the way this all started. Hitting the off button first. And not the on button at the end. This was a really fun experience. And I can't imagine had I disobeyed him the first time. I definitely would have viewed this game very different.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Here we go.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Full circle.
And Stanley was happy.
I'm glad I chose this as my last ending. Hopefully the last ending. We'll see what happens if I did this right. The end is never the end. The end is loading. I guess that was it. I'll see if there's anything different. Again.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
No, I didn't
mean to. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't...
Restart the game. I did not mean to do that. But that shows me that there's
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I guess that is it. Again, that's every ending I could think of. We got the figurine ending. I want to do the new content again. Huh. Back to the main menu. Let's see if the epilogue... It showed up. There it is. I unlocked everything. Let's do it. Last video. So this is my last video then. Oh, man. Let's do this. Wonder what's in store. The epilogue. Many, many years later. Oh, the skip button ending. Let's go this way. Was I walking the wrong way? Oh. Let's walk towards the moon. Where did I get the chair from? Blistering winds and scorching deserts. I think I said this joke last time. Rising sun. Oh. We walked back to the skip button. Maybe. I don't know. Loving memory of the Stanley Parable 2. Whee! Just following this cable. Cookie Nine's blog. Review the Stanley Parable 2. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fanbase. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines give you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome reply from... Oh, there's no back. I like the bucket, too. And I can see that guy's complaint. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. Are these real? July, it doesn't say what year. It's just from the real web, so it's real. When the Stanley Parable launched to a massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. They probably talked about the number 3. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Wow. What is this? Oh, the name button.
Jim.
Oh, the light up ones work.
Jim.
Too bad my name's not Jim. Oh, right or left? I say left. The figurines. And the infinity hole, probably. Am I going the right way? Oh, well, I can't go back now. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Oh. Oh, it's the sliders guy from the beginning. Hello. Do I click? Oh, yes. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there'll never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise. What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that's what the narrator's problem. That was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to that to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we're gonna make Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for the game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a title for your game. The Stanley Parable 3. The Forgotten... I want to say Forgotten. No, The Whisper of Human Condition. Can I add more stuff? Oh no, I like that. A Whisper of Human Condition. The Stanley Parable 3. A Whisper of Human Condition. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1. And then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see? I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley parable cannot end. It can only spiral in itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, but it's not. Ah. Let me see. Am I close to it? Yeah. Adjust the slider. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley parable. The whisper of human. I think that's the game, everybody. I have gotten every ending, I believe. And just for the sake of ending the game, we're going to play the beginning one last time.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
We'll see if there's balloons.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
balloons.
employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Until one day.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Bucket.
Stanley
Bucket.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content door. Open up. Return to Stanley Parable 2 Expo Hall. That's funny. Oh, we're going to go get that last achievement. You know, I'm bothered by one thing. And the only thing I'm bothered is, I remember when we first went to the new content, there was a vent that opened up and I decided to go through the vent and go through the memory zone. What happened if I didn't go through the vent? The game never gave me a chance to veer off or return to that location. So, I don't know.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable
Where's that
and
skip
about
button?
how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
There it is. We remember all this. We're going for the very last thing.
Isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
I think it was in the next room, right? The test achievement. All right. So there's two things I did read. There's one more thing we could do in the infinity hole, and then the test achievement. We're actually going to get it.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Got it.
As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait, what in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched? Oh, God. Composure, composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
Awesome. And the last thing I'm going to do is the infinity hole.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Which I'm surprised didn't make it to the sequel. And that's because I didn't do this.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
So, really, the only thing that was different in the Ultra Deluxe was the bucket and the fun endings you get from that. But anyways, this infinity hole, this is one thing I did read that we can't do. And it's just jumping down here multiple times. Goodbye!
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Look how tiny the little hole is.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
It's not as deep.
Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Boop.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
It probably will.
Well, there it is.
Whoops.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
It's not working.
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this.
Restart the game.
I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
What?
You
You're
couldn't
leaving
bear
me?
to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Oh, I'm just here forever? Oh, if only I didn't waste my jumps. Whoa. What's that sound? I'm stuck here forever because Stanley can't climb. Oh, it's... Bye. Stanley, up close and personal. Oh, change some music. That's terrible music.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer
What is
using up
happening?
the space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're.
This is weird. What? heck is happening? What? What is this? Oh, he's upside down.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Are we gonna go back down? There we go. This is a very interesting ending, especially for it being my last one. Oh, okay, now it just restarts. Endless loop. Oh, it brought me back here. Alright, let's quit to the main menu. Well, everybody, well, thank you for watching me play Stanley Parable 3, I guess. It's been fun. This was an interesting game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, just like how I ended Last of Us 2, please tell me if there's anything I could have done to be better. If you like the mic, me having a background, I'd love any feedback, please. Otherwise, I see you guys on the next series, whatever it may be. Take care and bye. Laters.